Australia, where men are men. Hello, wonderhussie here, standing at the side of the road in a beautiful suburb of Perth, Australia. That's right, I'm still in Australia, but it's my last 16, 18 hours in this beautiful country. My good buddy Bill and I just checked into this Airbnb not too far from the airport so that we could unload the troopy and do some laundry and not have to drive too far in the morning to the airport. Okay, my flight is at 10 a.m. whatever time zone I'm in. So we got to leave here at 8 a.m. and then I got to fly from Perth clear across the Australian continent to Sydney. And then I have about an hour and a half layover, and then I fly from Sydney all the way across the Pacific Ocean to Los Angeles, and then from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. And so just like, well, basically just like my flight out here, but in reverse. Although I think the flight is a bit shorter because I'm going against the rotation of the Earth. So it was like a 15-hour flight here, and I think it's only about a 13-hour flight back. And what's really interesting is I leave Sydney, well, I leave here at 10 a.m. tomorrow, May 28th, which I guess is today, if you're watching this. And then I arrive in Las Vegas at like 6 p.m. on the 20th. So even though I'm going to be in transit in various flights for like, oh my gosh, probably something like 20 plus hours, I land just later that same day. Anyway, it's a beautiful, balmy, sunny afternoon here in beautiful Perth, Australia. You can see this is a really nice neighborhood where we're staying. There's mums out walking their babies in prams, a little boy riding his bike, strange Americans airing out their dirty clothes in the driveway. You know how those Americans are. Anyway, I figure I'll give Bill some privacy while he's trying to unload the troopy and just take a little walk down the street here to this beautiful park so that I can blather on about my Australian adventure without bothering him further. Let me tell you something. Bill is a hero. He picked me up in Alice Springs like 18 days ago, and we have been through an amazingly bonkers assortment of misfortunes in that 18 days, and it didn't seem to faze him at all. He had a great time. He said he would travel with me again. Depending on how all this turns out, well, he might change his mind about that. I'm not going to say too much about it because I'm saving, for once in my life, I'm saving the developments for the videos, okay? Like I alluded to, and if you've been following me on Facebook through this whole crazy journey, some crazy stuff happened to us on this trip. Some really, really, really crazy stuff. And I didn't even put exactly what it was on Facebook because I thought, well, there was kind of two reasons why. One, I didn't want to talk about the one thing because the outcome still hasn't been determined, and I thought it might go better for me if I didn't say too much about it. And two, I just thought it would preserve the mystery. This way you're going to have to watch the video to find out what the hell happened to me down under. Okay, I was making all those jokes when I made that video packing for this trip about, oh, I gotta be on my best behavior, I don't want to get the boot. Well, I'm here to tell you that I came pretty dang close to getting the boot, and I might still get the boot. I'm kind of nervous about flying out of here tomorrow. We'll see how it goes, if they let me back in the US or what. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this video now while I'm here in beautiful Perth and schedule it to go live tomorrow. So even if I don't make it back, well, you won't be left high and dry on a Wednesday. Okay, now that all these Australian people probably think I'm completely bonkers for walking around talking to myself on their beautiful suburban streets, I'll just say that I'm genuinely sad to be leaving this country. I liked it down here despite the stuff that happened, and it was pretty crazy stuff. I didn't let it ruin my trip, and in fact it in a weird way enhanced my trip, and I find myself having a real fondness for the Australian people. They've been, without exception, very friendly and very kind, even when things weren't going well. And man, yeah, part of me is looking forward to going home, because you know how it is when you travel for a while. Even though, golly, the last thing you want to do is go back to miserable, stinking Death Valley in the heat of summertime when the flies are going to be bothersome and everything's going to be hot and sweaty. Even with all of that being said, you still kind of miss sleeping in your own bed. And well, it'll be nice to see my sister and just be back in the good old USA, which I'm sure everybody down here in the beautiful country of Australia can't wait for me to get my ass back to the USA. Maybe. Anyway, since I'm not getting home until 6 p.m. Wednesday after traveling for 30 hours or whatever it is, I'm probably going to need to sleep all day Thursday, and so I won't really have time to edit any of my Australian footage, even though, oh my god, I'm dying to, because so much weird stuff happened. I'm not going to have time to get any Australia videos up until next Wednesday, which means I got to put something up for Friday, and I'm not going to have time to do that. So I'm going to do a live stream on Friday, probably at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're interested in asking me any questions, or just watching me blather on obliquely about what happened to me in Australia, well, tune in Friday at 5 p.m. to check that out. And you can ask me anything, and I'll answer anything, unless you ask me about these misfortunes that befell me while I was down here, because I'm not going to give away what happened. You're going to have to watch, well, next Wednesday's video was when the first thing happened, and it is a doozy, even for me, or especially for me. But then I think part 2 is relatively uneventful, but then part 3, we suffered another misfortune, which actually turned out to be kind of a blessing in disguise. It was one of those silver lining things. It ended up being an opportunity for us to meet some really cool, interesting people. And so even though it was kind of a calamity that could have ended in disaster, well, it turned out being kind of fun. Golly, look how nice this neighborhood is. I mean, look at that. They support the Ukraine on their garbage cans. And there's plenty of crazy off-road vehicles around everywhere, because it seems like everybody in this dang country likes to go overlanding or off-roading on their days off. I mean, I'm not kidding. I've seen so many crazy four-wheel drive campers and vans and troopies like ours. Like, everybody in this country seems to be really into the great outdoors, which is partly why I feel so at home here and why I really kind of don't want to leave. But unfortunately, as they say, all good things must come to an end. And as they also say, don't press your luck, wonderhussie, wazza. I gotta get out of this country while I can and back into the USA while I can. Sorry to be so vague and coy about everything. I'm not typically one of those vague, coy YouTubers. You know me, I'm typically more of an oversharer, but this is just one of those instances where I can't quite say too much yet. But it's an interesting experience for me, because I usually blab everything out right away as soon as it happens to me. I don't hold on to any secrets. And this is kind of fun, feeding out little clues here and there as to what's been going on down here. I mean, oh, look at that. Here's a house for rent. Looks like it's 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Really nice architecture. Beautifully landscaped. Looks like native plants. Some kind of gum tree, aka eucalyptus. That's what they call eucalyptus trees down here, gum trees. And there's like over 100 different varieties. They're absolutely amazing. The plants down here are unbelievable. The geologic formations, amazing. The animals, incredible. I saw quite a few exotic and interesting animals. In fact, I ate quite a few exotic and interesting animals while I was down here. All of which will be revealed when I start posting these dang videos. That's the downside to all of this. I have all this amazing, crazy footage that I can't wait to start editing. But the videos are going to take a long time to edit because I shot so much footage and so much weird stuff happened. A. B. I have so much stuff to do when I get home before I can even start editing, you know. It's going to be real hot, but I still feel like I have to elastomeric paint the roof of my dang casita. I got to do a bunch of laundry. I got to catch up on my mail. Oh my God, look. Look at this car in the driveway. On the spare tire cover, it says, Bush Chook. Oh, bush puns. I'm gonna miss you most of all. Anyway, that's pretty much all there is to this non-update update. Again, I'm sorry I can't give too many details yet, but consider this an amuse-bouche for next week's video. You know, like something, a little something to whet your appetite and get your curiosity going. What could have happened to Wanda down under? Oh wow, look at this cool car. That's one of the cool things about being down here is they have different cars than they have in the United States. Like, I don't even know what this is, but you definitely wouldn't see this cruising around America. Oh, it's a Rover. How about that? And then what's interesting too is all these cars, they drive on the right-hand side, which I feel like I would never in a million years get used to. I don't know how Bill has been doing it. Well, Bill's been down here for 7 months already, so I guess the first few weeks was probably kind of rough for him, but boy, now it's second nature. And when he goes back to the US, it's going to be hard for him to get used to driving on the left side. Anyway, yeah, most of the cars down here you would see in the US. There's a Subaru, there's a Mitsubishi Triton. I don't know, maybe you don't have those in the US. There's a Honda CR-V, there's a guard dog, there's a canoe named Betty, there's a free chair and a free spare tire, there's a tinny, which is what the Australians call these little metal fishing boats, a tinny, I guess because it's made out of tin. And there's our troopy and our Airbnb, which means I've come full circle around this entire block. And it's time for me to quit yakking and go inside and edit this video and upload it so that you have something to watch tomorrow while you're waiting for my big live stream on Friday. Hold on, before I sign off, a final thought. Bill, do you mind if we have a quick word?
Not at all.
Bill, was I unpleasant to travel with?
No, I mean, I'm going to really miss you.
Oh, Bill, I'm going to miss you too. So you would travel with me again?
Any day.
Even despite all the calamities, the unnamed calamities that befell us?
Any day.
What's that, Bill?
Well, it ain't Calamity Jane, it's Calamity Sarah Jane.
Well, I guess I've got a new nickname. Okay, so if you want to find out more about what happened to Wanda when she went down under, well, you're just going to have to tune in next week and join me Friday for my live stream for even more tantalizing clues about what might have gone down under.